Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Outpost Review. We managed to get the roof on while he was here, and it was a bit of a chore because of all of the crookedness, but we did manage to accomplish it, and the metal went on fairly well and easy. Only thing, it was really humid outside, and we got pretty beat down, didn't we?
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, we kind of felt like we were dehydrated and a little bit on the sick side, but we pushed through, we got it done, and it wasn't long after that and it rained, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was doing, I was taking out those middle supports. I'm actually going to leave the corner ones until I can get my 2x8s wrapped around, at least, connected into the building, so that the bottom of the posts, not that they would move, but just the fact that that would help keep them from going anywhere. But they're really, really stout, and it turned out really well. So let me see if I can show you a picture of this sill plate that we put up. Well, guys, that is the beginning of the front porch for the cabin up here. I can't wait to actually get the bottom, at least to the front, rocked, where I can actually put the deck on and build the steps, and then get on with another crooked and gnarly handrail, just like I've done everywhere else up there. I think it's really going to look good. And then I'm excited about getting that church pew cut in half and getting that set on each side of the door, which would be my seating arrangement for the outpost up here, where I can come out and sit outside in the morning and drink coffee or hot tea, or sit in the afternoon, as long as it's not too late in the day where the sun's way down, where it'll come in. But I tell you what, we've already recognized how much cooler the front of that house is with that porch roof on there, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is a little bit darker too on the inside of the house, but that's not a big deal. I'm just happy to have that up there. So yeah, I think it's going to look good when it's done.
the time being.
Well, folks, it's time for a little Q&A. So we thought we'd build a little fire here and answer some questions, right?
Yeah. So, had someone ask, how are you going to do the rock foundation if you put the deck for the porch in place first?
How am I going to do the rock foundation?
Yeah, the rock facing.
I do it before I do the porch. I've mentioned that. That's the reason that I'm just putting the awning up or the roof on and the posts. That was it, strictly, because I wanted to at least get that much done while I had help, because I can actually go back and put the deck on by myself primarily. But the rock has to be done on at least the front of the cabin before I put the deck on. The rest of it, it doesn't matter, but that has to be done first. So we don't want to get the cart before the horse or the egg before the chicken. Which came first, by the way?
Depends on how you look at it. Someone said, hey, I saw the stickers on the bottom of those studs. What are you doing with store-bought lumber when you got a sawmill? You just kind of mentioned that about trying to get stuff done in time, but then you also didn't have anything cut, right?
Right. I had to buy 5 of them because I scrambled to try to get material ready before he got here so that he could help me out. And we got up that day and it was raining. So there wasn't anything I could do outside, and I told him, I said, let's just jump in the truck. I'll go buy a few 2x4s and we can finish that wall. So that's the reason that I did that. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't know how anybody could build a house today, because one 2x4 is like right at $9 when they used to be $2. I don't get the reason for that. It couldn't be because of COVID. I don't get it. So there's a lot of money exchanging hands somewhere.
Someone said, I need 5 days a week of video. Shows more, please. We've talked about this before. We've also done that before. We did 2 videos.
Not happening.
Yeah, we've done 2 videos on Outpost review and 3 videos a week on Smoky Mountain Outpost. So altogether would be 5.
So people don't realize, first of all, when you're up here working to video, and I don't mind doing it because we enjoy letting you guys come along in the process, but it cuts the work down that you're able to do in a day's time about 50%, because you're constantly moving the cameras and so forth to get a better angle and tell a better story and so forth. So, but yeah, and then editing. He helped me edit a Outpost video and a review video. So by the time that we started, we sat down and we started, till we ended uploading them to YouTube, how many hours did we spend?
Probably
8 or 9?
I'd say 8 or 9 hours. And we encountered a couple of problems. That's another thing you have to take into account. We encounter problems like files missing, internet going down, power being out, whatever. Those things happen even if you are quick at what you do, which he's made over 300 videos. He's pretty, like when you're watching him, he's pretty snappy. But having to sort through 150, 200 clips from different cameras, and you're having to pull it all together, it takes a while.
Splice them together, upload them to YouTube, going through all the checks and everything that they have to before they get populated and all. So 8 or 9 hours just to do
2 videos.
2 videos, which ended up being, what, an hour and 15 minutes long, the 2 of them together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it takes quite a bit of time to do that. So, to do 5 videos a week like I had done, it really took a whole lot. And, you know, your time is important, and I want to be able to enjoy what I'm doing up here, you know, because as soon as I get done filming, a lot of times I'll go in there and I'll start editing. And then I'll maybe watch a little bit of TV, and then I
And
go
you're
to bed.
tired too.
And then I get up the
You gotta
next day and do
eat.
the same thing.
Well, the funny thing about that as well too, though, is by filming by editing or by putting out videos less, you actually get more content per video because we were starting to run thin
Yeah.
on every video.
Yeah, I'm still videoing every day like I did before, but there's more production being done. You don't just watch one process, you're actually seeing several processes over 2 or 3 days. So
Yeah. We had somebody who's been following us for some time. He said, "You got to add a little bit of milk to that water gravy. It will change your world. And then try it over some tomatoes, and it will change your world."
we do that over the tomatoes. We just didn't have any that day, but I'm not too fond of milk. I know that the kids, you know, they can take it or leave it, but I've been eating that water gravy ever since I was a kid, and I'll tell you what, I love it. You know, some salt, some pepper, and kind of burn that flour in the pan.
Bacon grease.
And yeah, with the bacon grease, oh boy, it's to die for. It's good stuff. But I have made it before with milk. I just prefer the water.
Well, it would kind of defeat the purpose of it being, you know, made with that water gravy if it had milk in it, you know?
Well, I mean, there's 2 kinds. There's water gravy and there's milk gravy.
Yeah. Let's
But
see.
it has to be brown gravy. I do not like the white gravy. No.
Let's see here. A lot of people are talking about the porch looking amazing and being great, a great addition to our cabin. So thank you. It was a lot of hard work and thinking to get it put up correctly, since it's all curvy and knotted up.
Well, I mean, you know, I've been learning to work with crooked lumber and to build outside the box, because it's fairly easy to build with straight lumber. You know, even if you didn't know how, you could YouTube that. You could find out how to do whatever you need to do. As a matter of fact, you can YouTube and do anything that you need to do. But working with crooked lumber, you know, it's a little different. You got to kind of compensate here and there for things that you do. Working with sawmill lumber, you have to compensate for different things that you do, because sometimes things don't come out quite right. So you just build according to that. But it all worked out great. I actually put a straight 2x6 on top of that big, huge, curvy plate that we did, so that all of the rafters would rest on the same point. That way I didn't have to go through there and specifically notch each one into that real curvy sill plate that we put up there. That would have taken forever. But, you know, it all became one piece, and it's going to look really good when everything is done.
We kind of went over this a couple of times, but
No.
someone mentioned again that they can't believe that raccoons and bears haven't come in and completely trashed the place. Raccoons occasionally, that's only if you leave the lids off the trash cans a little bit, but other than that, since we've been here, not much of anything. I see several comments about, does my dad have enough tools? The answer, in my opinion, is no. You can never have enough tools.
I think they meant in my tool belt.
No. Because you always lay something down and you go, where's my pencil?
I tell you what, that tool belt that I was wearing the other day, that's got the double straps and the chest strap on it, and then it's got the waist belt that you pull it up. It's, you know, I mean, you could load it down, but with it riding on your hips and on your shoulders, I mean, I wore that thing all day long, and it was fairly comfortable. That's one of the reasons that I got it, so that it didn't weight my waist down. But yeah, you know, I like having the tool with me when I need it.
Yeah, I actually just to add in there about the tool thing. I definitely think that that you can't have enough. Sometimes you have to have multiples of the same thing. Like the other day, we talked about the impacts. How many impact drivers he has? He's got 3, and we used all 3 of them at the same time between the 2 of us. That way, we could make our work go much quicker without having to change the bits. Even though it's a quick change, it made everything that much quicker. You don't have to try to find a bit that's hanging out in a pocket somewhere, and then drop it off the top of the house, then climb down the ladder. Those things happen. So it's like having screwdrivers. They're just more expensive. It's kind of like having tape measures. You always have more than one, because sometimes you have other people that come up and help you, and sometimes you misplace them or you need another one.
I will say this, that the garden has really come on strong. The tomatoes are actually hanging full of tomatoes. They'll be coming on pretty soon. I've got some cucumbers that are probably about this long. I'll probably pull here shortly. We've already picked quite a mess of beans that I'll probably throw in some stew, or make something along with that, maybe some stir fry actually. And I've already cut broccoli. I've got some more coming on, peppers, and now the cabbages have started to form. So it's coming on, and of course, hopefully next year I'll have the other raised beds put in, and I'll have a place up there where I can have some potatoes put out. And I'm thinking about trying, I think, what do you call it, horticulture? It's just where you plant things in a big mound, because I tell you what, I'm coming up with lots of wood, lots of scraps and things like that, and I was thinking, what I just need to do is I just need to pile up all that stuff, throw some dirt on it, and as it rots, it actually feeds the bed from underneath, I think it's called horticulture. So I need to prepare to do some things like that too. I will still have to probably fence it off so things don't get in there, but I'm thinking about next year, expanding that a little bit too. And I may even, I got so many projects I don't know, but I may even work on a greenhouse, like using some cattle panels. I've seen a lot of those, build like a small 2-foot high wooden frame, and then put the cattle panel in it, and then cover that with plastic. So I may end up doing something like that, and build something not only that I can use in the wintertime, but also that I can use in the springtime to start, plants and things like that with.
Are you going to close the ceiling? I imagine to make a big storage room. No. The ceiling in the cabin is totally open.
The roof is the ceiling. So the roof line will be covered, because I'm going to put sheetrock on the bottom of it. I've got some design plans for that. You'll have to wait and see what that's going to turn out like. I think it'll turn out nice. But none of the rooms get a ceiling. There will be a ceiling fan hanging from the purlins in the cabin under each bedroom, under the back part of the main room, the front part of the main room where the front door is, and over the kitchen. The only room that will get a ceiling will be the bathroom, and it's primarily for privacy. Otherwise, I'd leave it open too. They do have walls, unless you can jump 8 feet high to see over. I didn't see the point in spending the extra, because I'm just going to allow the whole house to breathe and circulate. And it would just have been a whole lot of extra money, really, for nothing as far as I'm concerned. So I decided that I wouldn't do that. I would leave it all open where you can see all the beams and all the woodwork and all that kind of stuff.
Same guy actually asked, in some of your videos, I can see that you start work with a coat or a jacket, and a few minutes later, you end up with a T-shirt on. So fast the weather changes in your state.
It's not the state, it's the area. These mountains right here is probably 10 degrees cooler than it is in town, at least, minimum. So if it's 60 degrees in town, it's going to be 50 degrees here, or a little chillier. When he came up here, you know, this is June, right? I told him, I said, no.
The end of June.
Yeah, the end of June. I said, you need to know that every night you have to put a blanket on up here. There's no air conditioning in there. I really don't need it. During the daytime, of course, you know, the house is not done. It's not sealed up and everything, but it tends to get a little bit warm in there because everything is still, you know, primarily wood, and I don't have...
There's no circulation.
Yeah, I don't have any insulation everywhere. I don't have any circulation or anything like that. But I imagine if I, as the nighttime, as it cools down here, if I was to close all the windows, once everything's insulated, I could probably hold that coolness for quite some time. So that's kind of what I'm working towards. That will tell me that it's sealed up really good too, because in the wintertime when I've got the heat in there and then close it off, I'm hoping that that's what that radiant barrier is going to do for me.
Well, I mean, I can definitely, whenever I came up here, he did tell me that it gets around 60 degrees. And we're talking about the summer, guys. You know, it's 80, 85, 90 degrees outside. And I'm like, there's no way with a house that's no AC or circulation that it's going to get down to 60. And we wake up and you're having to be covered back up and it's 60 degrees for sure. So he wasn't lying about that. Want to talk about the camping trip with the weather?
Oh yeah, the camping trip kind of got postponed due to the weather because of rain, and then the project that we were working on, we just couldn't drop it and leave it. So we've postponed that for a little bit, but you know, we'll pick it back up here in a week or two. But he said while he was here, he would prefer to just kind of stay and continue working on the cabin and things like that and helping out, and that you know, I would pick up the camping trip with Patrick number 2, who's the guy that's been coming up here helping me a lot, and we'll take off and go do some camping and some fishing because we've got all summer to do that.
Someone who follows, a regular follower of ours, said, are there only certain boards that you can use for cutting boards? I was wondering because of the taste, sap of the wood, and also how it might be more absorbent to foods. I guess if you seal it, you should be fine.
Yeah, but the one I've got up there is a piece of pine, but it's the type of pine that it didn't have a lot of sap in it. It's basically really dry. I haven't tasted anything. I actually haven't even sealed it yet. I need to do that. But, you know, I've cut meat on it already, haven't tasted anything from it. So I guess there is something to that. You know, I would suppose that you would probably really want to use a piece of hardwood. But that just happened to be a pine board, and the way that it was shaped and everything, I thought, man, that looks so cool. That would make a nice cutting board. So I just fixed it up, and that's what I'm using now. And I guess when it doesn't work anymore, I'll go find me another one and cut it and make, you know, I could use some of this box elder. I've got some maple back here. I could do the same thing. So,
Are you going to use any cedar in your closet? Someone asked that.
I don't know. I don't know that I would want that smell all the time. I've answered that in another video. I can remember that. I do like the smell of cedar, but I don't know if I would want it all the time. But again, you know, Grandma had mothballs, and I didn't like the smell of those all the time either.
They do make them in different scents
Yeah.
now, though.
So I don't know. We'll see. You know, it doesn't have to totally be lined with cedar. It could just maybe have a cedar back on it or something like that. But we'll see.
How long do you figure until the chickens start laying eggs?
Well, when I got them, they were 4 months old. So I think she said that they still had 6 or 8 weeks. So I guess that's maybe when they're 6 months old. But she said it wouldn't be long and they would all be laying, so I'm looking forward to that. Well, guys, listen, it's kind of getting late. The fire's dying down. The sun has already went down, and my light has come on. I'll tell you what, that light has been a real blessing, because it does light up this whole area at nighttime, as dark as it is up here. I mean, it's pitch black unless you got a full moon, but it lights this whole area up. So if you're looking for any kind of lighting that you don't want to have to really pay for, other than upfront cost, I think it was Home Lighting and Design or something like that. I got it off of Instagram, but it was, like I said before, I think 6,000 lumens. I paid $90 for it. It's got 3 different settings on it. It can burn on high all night. It can burn on high for 2, 4, 6, or 8 hours. You can set it, or you can set it for motion detect. And it will come on bright. Then it will go back to burning at 30% when you don't really need it. So, yeah, it's been really nice. It's already come on, so like I said, we're going to go ahead and shut this video down. Hey, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us here at the Outpost Review. And be sure and go check out our main channel if you haven't. It's Smoky Mountain Outpost. That's where we do a lot of the work up here. Be sure also to go to our website and check out the details. We do monthly giveaways on both channels, and we've started new milestone giveaways, all so that you guys can be a part of the growth of the channel. So we want to thank you very much for sharing it with your family, friends, and neighbors. Guys, we hope that you have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. We look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.